commercialisation, c'est le début des essais sur l'homme pour voir s'il est bien toléré. Il s'y déclenche une immunitoire volontaire avec l'ANRS et l'INSERM. Tester leur camp. Et alors, sachez que leur méthode innovante trouve même une application contre le Covid. Les chercheurs du VR sont en train de préparer des vaccins contre les variants du Covid, exactement sur le même modèle, des anticorps chargés de fragments des variants sud-africains et anglais, lancés comme des missiles sur les cellules dendritiques pour déclencher une réponse immunitaire.
La boucle est bouclée. Merci Anne-Laure Danier.
6h56 sur France Info. Bonjour Olivia Leray.
Bonjour.
On ne pouvait pas le rater ce matin. Vous nous proposez une pause mentale.
Oui, je suis venue avec mon costume de grand maître ce matin, même si, bon, comme l'a dit Jean Castex, on n'a qu'à attendre sagement, tranquillement, le bout de l'épidémie à la fin du printemps. Hein. On gère, on flanche, on est des battants finalement, c'est pas si loin. Évidemment que non, on est tous au bout du rouleau. On a donc besoin de ça.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Et c'est un article.
What?
Ça, alors faire une pause mentale en langage pas grand maître du bien-être, c'est en gros dire bonne nuit à son cerveau sans dire. Et pour ça, une psychologue canadienne Alors, je ne vous propose pas de voler, mais d'acheter une belle orange bien juteuse, de l'emporter avec vous sous la douche, de l'éplucher sous la douche, de la sentir, de la manger et de vous savonner le visage en quelque sorte avec le reste de la pulpe. Alors là, j'imagine Christine faire ça ce week-end et j'avoue que je me marre un peu. Deuxième expérience. Le but, c'est de titiller sa langue. Là, il vous faut un partenaire. Vous prenez du citron. Non, ne pensez pas à des choses bizarres. Vous prenez...
What Kay means is, get plenty of Pepsi next time you shop.
Next time you shop. Next time you're at the store.
5 days. Trust Genical Pain Relief, Canada's #1 selling joint care supplement. Genical Pain Relief is available at Shoppers Drug Mart, Walmart, the Real Canadian Superstore, and selected Rexall stores. Learn more at painrelief.genical.ca. Always read and follow the label. Genical makes me feel so good.
What?
Hiring can be challenging, but ZipRecruiter makes it fast and easy. We talked to Monica Starks, who needed to hire for a pivotal role at her company, GS Group.
As the owner of a construction company, finding the right people is a very difficult task. So I use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology identifies the right people for your job and actively invites them to apply, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for...
Respectueuse de l'environnement, vkveka.fr.
Ah oui, ça se dégrade, Christine Peña, dans le temps. Bah oui, un peu de pluie qui circule entre la Bourgogne et le Grand Est, le sud de Paris. Elle est en train de quitter Paris d'ailleurs, la pluie. Et puis demain, elle viendra se caler entre l'Auvergne et le Lyonnais. Et dimanche, ça sera le retour au calme avec du soleil, mais des températures qui auront bien baissé déjà. Ça baisse aujourd'hui, on aura seulement 12 degrés à Reims, à Rennes, à Paris également, comme à Bourges, 14 à Clermont-Ferrand, à Limoges et à Toulouse. Clermont-Ferrand, hier, il faisait encore 20 degrés. Christine Peña. Et bonjour à vous, Laurent Sénéchal.
Bonjour Agathe, bonjour à tous. Profitez bien de votre week-end. Si vous habitez d'Île-de-France ou même la Picardie, la Lorraine, Lyon ou le Sud-Est, vous êtes en sursis, pour ne pas dire en apnée. Confiné ou pas?
Bonjour. Toutes nos lignes sont occupées. Nous vous prions de patienter quelques instants.
Ne quittez pas, patientez encore un peu, quelques jours au moins. Et déjà sur France Info, la mairie de Paris, vous l'entendrez à 7h, demande un confinement dur pendant 3 semaines en Île-de-France. Proposition choc qui ne fait pas l'unanimité. À 7h40, Éric Coquerel, député France Insoumise de Seine-Saint-Denis, sera le grand témoin de France Info. Mais la lumière au bout du tunnel, elle arrive.
Cette épidémie, nous en verrons le bout, la progression de la campagne vaccinale nous permet de nous fixer un cap, la fin du printemps.
Vous pouvez donc cercler la date de rouge. Jean Castex lui-même l'annonce, sortie de crise à la fin du printemps, c'est-à-dire le 20 juin. Bon, ça fait quand même encore 4 mois à tenir. Allez, on va les tenir ensemble. Bon réveil sur France Info, il est 7h.
France Info, 7h, 9h30, Laura Sénéchal.
la une ce matin, cette proposition choc de la mairie de Paris sur France Info, confiner l'Île-de-France 3 semaines avant de rouvrir même les bars et restos. Le gouvernement n'y est pas favorable, vous l'entendrez. Bonjour Thomas Vénèche.
Bonjour Laurent, bonjour à tous.
Les autres titres avec vous. Élargir la vaccination aux plus de 65 ans dans 2 mois en France. Le vœu du gouvernement, un objectif conditionné aux doses de vaccins livrées. AstraZeneca auditionné hier à distance par le Parlement européen sur ses livraisons de vaccins. Il n'a pas convaincu l'eurodéputé français Pascal Canfin. Accusé de viol et mis en examen, Gérard Depardieu se défend dans un quotidien italien. Je suis innocent, clame l'acteur. Enfin, les fédérations de sport en salle inquiètent de la baisse de leurs licenciés. Elles craignent de les avoir définitivement perdus. Le sur-mesure pour lutter contre le Covid-19 défendu hier soir par le chef du gouvernement. Nouvelle conférence de presse de Jean Castex sur la situation sanitaire. Il note une dégradation depuis quelques jours. Pas de confinement national pour autant, mais 20 départements français sous surveillance renforcée, dont tous ceux d'Île-de-France. Sur France Info, Emmanuel Grégoire, premier adjoint au maire de Paris, propose au gouvernement un reconfinement pour 3 semaines de la capitale et de sa région.
L'une des options que nous souhaiterons mettre sur la table, c'est plutôt qu'un confinement le week-end, un confinement tout court. Ne faut-il pas mieux poser la question d'un durcissement du confinement ?
I want to scream, you racist bastard.
Any other command officer in the Canadian Armed Forces.
Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland acknowledged the investigation Thursday in the Commons, but revealed no details. The country's Deputy Chief Public Health Officer says 40% of seniors over 80 have received 1 dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, and about 5.5% have received a second dose. Dr. Howard New also says now is not the time for people to let their guard down, adding the virus remains a serious threat.
I realize I'm saying this as provinces and territories are reopening, and that is my point. Just because we are now allowed to resume activities like going to the gym or a pub doesn't necessarily mean we should. Determine what you need to do and assess your risks.
The more contagious variant, first discovered in the United Kingdom, has become a significant concern in Montreal, where there's still widespread community transmission. Well, despite controversy over vaccine availability and appointment booking, experts see evidence that COVID-19 shots are doing their job. All residents in Alberta long-term care have now been vaccinated. Infectious disease expert Dr. Lenore Saxinger from the University of Alberta says hospitals started to see a drop in case numbers after new restrictions went into effect in December.
Where I work, over the past weeks, we've seen decongestion of COVID in the hospital. Things are feeling a lot more comfortable, a lot more normal, thank goodness. But we've also really seen a significant drop in the admission of frail patients who have COVID-19.
Saxinger says the number of deaths from long-term care settings was heartbreaking in December, trickled down in January, and has virtually disappeared in February. Police in southwestern Ontario have made the grim confirmation. A baby has been found dead at a home in downtown Hamilton. Global's Diana Weeks reports.
February 24th, 2021, the Hamilton Police Service received information regarding the possibility of a child that had been buried here at this location.
That location is 104 Wellington Street North in Hamilton, and now Hamilton police have confirmed the disturbing news that no one had hoped to be true. The body of a newborn baby found buried in the basement of the home. Just hours after it was announced that the Center of Forensic Sciences had joined the investigation, police held a news conference naming the man and woman charged in the case.
Winnie Enzor, 24 years of age, and Nathan O'Brien, 34 years of age.
Police say they are working closely with the coroner's office, and the post-mortem should happen within the next few days. Diana Weeks, Global News.
To sports, in the NHL, the Penguins beat the Capitals 5-2, the Senators blasted the Flames 6-1, and the Blackhawks handed the Blue Jackets a 2-0 shutout. From the Global News Desk, I'm Darren Boland.
Oh my God. Oh crap. Hear me.
No adverse effects to their nose, throat, and sinuses from
Dragnet.
Capable de livrer les 180 millions.
Digital breach took place at the Division of Structural Biology. A private security researcher said he found screenshots online from inside the lab's network. An Oxford University spokesman said that no personal data was compromised. A group of Russian diplomats had to push a railway cart carrying their children and belongings to leave North Korea this week because of Pyongyang's strict anti-coronavirus measures. Pictures published online by the Russian Foreign Ministry show the 8 diplomats and their family members loading luggage onto the railway cart and pushing it more than a kilometre over a border river into Russia. A BBC investigation has found that hundreds of people are using social media to sell illegally occupied land in the Amazon rainforest. João Fellet reports.
One plot inside the protected Uruewawa Reserve was being offered for sale by a group which the federal police described as a criminal organization that invaded, occupied, and sold land. The buyers often convert the land to pasture for rearing cattle, clearing and selling the timber on it. Many share President Jair Bolsonaro's view that rainforest development can improve their lives. But climate change activists say it's a major contributor to the deforestation of the Brazilian Amazon.
The first Prime Minister of independent Papua New Guinea has died at the age of 84. Known as the Father of the Nation, Grand Chief Sir Michael Samare led the country to independence from Australia in 1975. He served 17 years as Prime Minister. BBC News.
Thank you for that news and welcome to Newsday on the BBC World Service with Paula Mosero and James Cotnell. A decade on from the fall of Muammar Gaddafi, and Libya has descended into chaos and crisis, and peace is still elusive. We'll look back over the last 10 years. Is there any hope for Brazil's Juma indigenous group? The last surviving male has died from COVID. But what about female descendants? And we'll tell you about an ambitious project in San Francisco which completely redefines the term house move. And of course, you can share a comment on anything you hear on Newsday. Our text number is +44 77 86 20 50 85.
Now, what was no doubt a very awkward conversation has just taken place between US President Joe Biden and the Saudi leader King Salman. The two nations are long-standing allies and their interests align closely, but there's a very sticky issue of human rights. While the two men spoke last night ahead of the release of a US report of an investigation into the gruesome murder of the Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. US investigators have reportedly linked the killings to the king's son and heir, Prince Mohammed bin Salman, but the Crown denies any involvement. 5 individuals were given death sentences for the murder by a Saudi court. These sentences, though, were commuted to 20 years in prison last September. Well, earlier I spoke to Simon Henderson. He's a senior fellow in Washington Institute for Near East Policy, to see where the relationship would go from here.
Both sides have produced a report of what went on. I made a minor analysis of the two readouts. In the Saudi version, Iran nuclear was mentioned. It's not in the White House version. In the White House version, they acknowledged the release of some Saudi American citizens and also made a mention of universal human rights and the rule of law. Neither version mentioned Khashoggi.
Let's talk then about this investigative report, which is due out imminently. Are we expecting any major surprises, given the many, many details that we heard prior to now?
It's going to be fascinating what the report says and what it doesn't say. If you can imagine an intelligence agency listening via SICKLY's intelligence or some person concerned, that's how these intelligence reports are put together. But an unclassified version launders them in such a way that the side which might be embarrassed by the revelations can't work out how the hell, in this case, the United States knows this rather than that. I think it's going to be probably shocking, although it's generally known what will be in there, that Khashoggi was killed and deliberately killed.
Is it felt that perhaps this report may actually lead more towards implicating the royal family and indeed the Crown Prince?
I think that the report will make it even clearer that the Crown Prince was deeply involved in the incident, that he was essentially in command of the operation, ordered the operation, and supervised it, even perhaps while the operation was continuing. It's clear to me that the Biden administration, apart from the horror of the killing of Jamal Khashoggi, regards Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman as a dangerous man, frankly, an unsuitable man to be king of Saudi Arabia. At this stage, they want to
You got an opinion of who should be king of Saudi Arabia. You're gonna go far with it.
Take care of them. How about this, Bronson?
Oh.
Can't see, Joe. What is it? Cutting torch. Looks like it's been used lately.
How would you know if it's been used?
What if we could get into a conversation from that place, from the place of, wow,
ow, my damn.
We're actually arguing the same thing. What am I like to have a conversation with? Allyship stems from that. It stems from understanding where we made a mistake. It stems from where did the understanding break down. And maybe there's actually some...
sanitaire se dégrade, plus de 25 000 nouveaux cas de Covid recensés hier, une progression importante du variant britannique également signalée. Le variant représenterait plus de la moitié des contaminations dans l'Hexagone. 20 départements, dont Paris, ont également été placés sous surveillance. Toutefois, le Premier ministre a voulu rassurer. Valérie Gasse, Jean Castex l'a assuré hier en conférence de presse. La stratégie du gouvernement est la bonne.
Alors que les Français ont le moral en berne après une année d'épreuves, Jean Castex a essayé de leur redonner un peu d'espoir.
Cette épidémie, nous en verrons le bout. La progression de la campagne vaccinale nous permet de nous fixer un cap, la fin du printemps. À cette
supports the internationally recognized government in Tripoli. Russia, the UAE and Egypt backed its rival in Benghazi. Foreign involvement makes the UN's current diplomatic initiative to reunite Libya even more difficult. 10 years on, optimism is a scarce commodity in Libya, as our Middle East editor Jeremy Bowen has been hearing.
You're serious. This is the BBC.
First came Tunisia and then Egypt.
D'étendre la vaccination.
That's too much.
You tell him goodbye.
That was the song from DHT with Listen to Your Heart. You're listening to Studio Plus. Now let's get to the first topic. Mass vaccinations for individuals have started in all districts in Beijing in recent days.
Create challenges and opportunities for the creatures who depend on them. This place is the domain of the lionfish. The shoal of fish arrives to feed. These are silversides, a favorite prey of the lionfish. The hunt is on. But unlike their land-based namesakes, these gloriously but cumbersomely manned lions of the sea are at a massive disadvantage. They are slow. In the battle for survival, speed is of the essence. But what the lionfish lack in actual speed, they make up for in quick wits. Evolution has equipped them with some brilliant hunting strategies.
Cartoon shit.
On this underwater sporting field, it's the team that is the star. Slowly but surely, working together, the lionfish move towards the shoal from different directions. The swift silversides can easily evade an approaching lumbering lionfish, but that's just what the lionfish have reckoned upon. The silversides are soon surrounded, coming together in a tight ball. As the lionfish close in, silversides make a break for it. But whichever way they go, they find their way blocked. In many cases, the only way forward is straight into a gaping, hungry mouth.
Why did you send me this cartoon shit?
For the lionfish, it's an undersea turkey shoot and a feast.
And then you shoot quail in the face. Right.
Natural selection is a matter of survival of the fittest. But it's not just fit bodies that count. Nature also chooses those equipped with good ideas.
Oh dear, now what are we doing?
Shantou, Guangdong, Wuyi Island, an uninhabited island, is as big as 5 soccer fields.
It's empty for a reason.
Every spring, almost 10,000 bridled terns follow shoals of fish to this island. For the whole summer, until the end of the breeding season, the adult birds forage in turn. By late September, it'll be time for the bridled terns to migrate to warmer climes. Before that can happen, all the young birds need to be able to fly. But one nestling is yet to leave its nest. Time is running out.
It's not even going to feed, it just throws food.
Its parents must do something. The young bridled tern has been hiding in the bushes, away from the sun and predators.
Keep it up. Keep it up. Keep it up.
So far, it has enjoyed a comfortable summer, but willing to take a step out of the nest.
We seen it from foreign. No drive backs when I come through. Them niggas know how bees do. All they heard was some loud shots from the cops. Can't get no clues. I put in work with that Smith & Wesson. I put in work with that
Most doses have considered to have completed the vaccination. During in China, the vaccination to combat the COVID-19 virus is that we have to take the first dose and wait for at least 2 weeks to
we all trying to score. Better get low, cause we flip cars. Ride behind the tent. We seen it from far. Music down the street with my ARs. Strapped to the whip. We all trying to score. Better get low, cause these hit cars. Strap behind the tent. We seen it from far.
Bustin' these bricks, cruise my shirt. I feel like the shit. Money ain't shit. A bitch ain't shit. I'm trying to get rich. Shooting their yards, they shooting out of cars. Pop out when I blitz. Me and bro don't mix. A brick for the kicks, ain't selling on the mix. I'ma feed my dog to the yards I got. Spin these bands up tomorrow a lot. Get it for the low, you tag it a lot. Gang boss, they got the score, not top. They like crazy, I'm going to see Will. Ain't changed, never talk, kept it real. Sitting in the chop, try to get a couple mil. Cop hit the trap, like taking no bills.
Cruising down the street with my AR. Strapped in the whip. We we all trying to score. Better get low, cause we flip cars. Ride behind the tent, we seen it from far. Sit down the street with my A-Bars. Strapped to the whip, we all trying to score. Better get low, cause these hit hard. Ride behind the tent, we seen it from far. Car flip, no sandal, chopper hit this mangle. Vandal come through 4 niggas.
Double up. So sad, get close, we get close when we ride. So sad, we get close when we ride. You don't get close, we get close when we ride. If I ain't in the hood, then I'm OT grinding. I'm running at the spot where the cops can't find nobody knows. Where the cops can't find them, on the run at the spot where the cops can't find them. If they ain't in the hood, then I'm...
Welcome to Big Law Matters, a podcast. Welcome to Mi'kmaq Matters, a podcast about the Mi'kmaq people, politics, land, and water. I'm Glenn.
Yes, nigga. Word take, we slim, we out here. Don't get close, nigga. We the prettiest got the shooters behind me. OGs the white, the shussies in 990s. So don't sleep, no, nigga, we are what? Don't matter who it is, bound to get the job done. We the prettiest got the shooters behind me. OGs the white, the shussies in 990s. So don't sleep, nigga, we are what? Don't matter who it is, bound to get the job done. On the same shit, running with the same clip. Never gonna change, no, nigga, only change holes. And the pool, but only if it's fucking up. Play some aiming niggas above the button. Working hard in the paint, no patch of fucking no. We patch a clip, that to get our shit up. Over the hot shit, it's a stick up. Never a 9 to 5, cause I ain't got no day job. From the slums, little homie, when we play hard. You don't wanna see the 30-30 when it sprays off. The 22 to walk around 3/8 for the beef. The 40 to lick them down, the max for the EC. Heard niggas saying, but they wanna make tracks with us. Before that, didn't even crack to us. Going hard in the booth, it's a takeover. Hard in the ground into your face, that's a makeover. 2 and 5 or a 2. The rest rock hustlers, when I say won't sleep till I knock it. And don't push me, cause I ain't in the top yet. 12-year-old school, so I ain't scared if you got it. Y'all got it. It's just me you comparing to. I ain't finished my fair share yet, but that air them just started. And I ain't talking about no drum shot, brush them off, don't top. You know the cold on my chest. Didn't think I was capable. 4-5 pints on my traceable. Didn't think I was capable. 4-5 pints on my it isn't traceable.
You niggas gon' ride something like a flat tire. Feel the fire at your back and when you backfire. Cause my gas the same size as a blow dry. That looks true in your raps, just some damn liar. A great job, make them spit through the wire. And you don't supply shit to a buyer. I'm the king of gang rap, call me sire. That's me, for private you rate and admire. Tell the truth, your rubber grip tight, no pliers. I gotta take you out, call it quits, all retire. You go, the 4th room down, just lift them up. Bells don't leave shells, so I'm switching up. Something like a bus driver still picking up. Got your hands in your pocket, nigga, stick them out. I'm a projects, money's no objects. So we finger fuck max and we contact. Slide in, slide out, got where we ride out, down, go. I got rounds that you don't count. You're standing up till I tell them sit down. Stomach on the ground, hands behind your back and you're blowing over. When I'm digging in your couch, give me that in your grip, all for the rest. He said, check the weed, leave the cash. What? I'ma do him dirty, Mad Max. So niggas get back, bitches get smacked, they get smacked face down when I'm breaking her back. Yo, we got metal like a rap, made a name in rap. I ain't setting it for track. Yo, I'ma need me a bag, C-O-L-T. Carved in my rack, cold steel unstolen. Stereo scratched up on my actions. Stop the madness, I'm reeling up, get it gone. Match every car, don't sleep like I don't got a 9 jokes, and your aim class.
Didn't see wrong, nah, run up on them close. I ain't going wrong, but I'm clear blood strong till it drops on my palm. Till it's highly dangerous and no tools arms contagious. Sicker than stars, I ain't saying this, but I'm a hot star. I'll snap, crack, pop like camera. I'll snap, run, duck, just hide when I let off. Run, man in the mask, man in the act, man with the strap to your man's vision black. With the phone dog and hot snap, OGs for YGs, skull clap, we clap. Do you come and try me? 70s and 90s, good moving grimy. Third rush till it's hooked up to the ivy. 4-5 will stretch you, and they think you strong. Until they end up on a stretcher, better get a coffin. Yo, Critians, so we ain't in a no long talking. Money overflow, back on my bullshit. These punks that I grew with, acting like they're too sick, too no cash, making me ever switch sides. Or battle to the Jakes, almost get my guns fried, huh? My mind's fried. See, I don't give a fuck, skanking with a YG, guaranteed we hit them up. Take a nigga slut, man, you know me. Never look back since my first pack in 03. Pack nigga, plus I get busy with these OGs, screaming Southside, outside all the police. Fucked up when I nipped 1.5 a B. Snakes selling cop chops, now you owe me 10 G's. Till I go to sleep, kill you for the 80K. The marksman, 2 for fun. What the fuck's a murder 1? Bad news if you run into the DBS. All I do is give 1 nod, then he breathes the tech. Then he breathes the tech. All I do is give 1 nod, then he breathes the tech.
We're postponing an all-nighter, all across Canada. It's The Shift with Shane Hewitt.
Sleep, no, nigga, we all what? Won't matter who it is, bound to get the job done. The Ukrainians got the shooters behind the OGs, the YGs, just even 990. So don't sleep, nigga, we all what? Don't matter who it is, bound to get the job done. What up to Cali Geek? Yanni Meta Poker. My FCF motherfuckers and my TAFTs. Taking it dope. Coming up the
This week, Halliburton's first nip.
Participants will be compensated up to $2,625. Visit at Clienta.com. At Clienta.com.
Some see challenges, we see opportunities. Some see doubt, we see hope. Some see limits, we see possibilities. At Amica Senior Lifestyles, it is possible to be safe, active, and connected, to experience a premium lifestyle tailored to you, to make plans and live life on your terms, safely, together. Find out how at amica.ca.
The Wi-Fi's not working.
Have you ever tried weed?
Fucking up the Wi-Fi on purpose so nobody knows what you're doing to us here.
I'm gonna have to ask you to just drive to the next window for your order because there are people waiting behind you.
Oh, yeah, sorry. The next window. Yeah, right over there. Thank you.
Looking for tips on how to talk with your teens about cannabis? Visit Drug Free.
I don't see how this. Indefatigable thugs. It's banned from the Olympics and every major sporting event as a performance-enhancing drug.
And yes, I'm a boss, but I'm looking for a lick. You gotta get it how you live when life is like this. And yes, I need 36 a whole fucking brick. Rolling through the city, got a Louis Loafs on. And I told these motherfuckers, yeah, I get my smoke on. Streets, strong, bust out the bomb. Smoking all day, flipping bricks by the yard. And you can try to do it, don't quit your day job. The streets need you up and make the times real hard. That's why I got all these tattooed scars. Chilling in the TV bars, rolling in the fancy cars, swinging out with superstars. Yeah, I look like a model, B-I-O-R. Money in the rubber band, stack it till you can't park. Yeah, I got the trade palace, got a real loud bar. I do my dirt in the dirt, fucking do it broad day. I got so many quarters, AKs, SKs, long range, short range, red state, no brain. Who am I kidding, motherfucker, crime pays? Yeah, I'm trying to get the paper, I'm just trying to get rich. We do it for the big face, dead presidents. And I love it, getting dreams, still got Mercedes Benz. And yes, I'm a boss, but I'm looking for a lick. You gotta get it how you live when life is like this. And yes, I need 36 a whole fucking brick.
In the dark of night, it's The Shift with Shane Hewitt.
The Weeknd, I think, crushed it at the Super Bowl. Part of it was because he was...
Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Vic Perrin, Stacey Harris. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann.
John Gotti, CTM Music Group, baby. Woo! Pow! Yeah, I'm trying to get the paper, I'm just trying to get rich. We do it for the big face, dead presidents. And I love getting dreams, still got Mercedes Benz. And yes, I'm a boss, but I'm looking for a lick. You gotta get it how you live when life is like this. And yes, I need 36 a whole fucking brick. Rolling through the city, got my Louis Loafs on. And I told these motherfuckers, yeah, I get my smoke on. Streets, strong, bust out the bomb. Smoking all day, flipping bricks by the yard. And you can try to do it, don't quit your day job. The streets need you up and make the times real hard. That's why I got all these tattooed scars. Chilling in the TV bars, rolling in the fancy cars, swinging out with superstars. Yeah, I look like a model, B-I-O-R. Money in the rubber band, stack it till you can't park. Yeah, I got the trade palace, got a real loud bar. I do my dirt in the dirt, fucking do it broad day. I got so many quarters, AKs.
Bringing you the latest updates on COVID-19. Stay informed, stay safe, and stay tuned to Chin Radio AM 1540.
Now, as gunshots echo across the wind-swept, snow-covered reaches of the wild Northwest, Quaker Puffed Wheat and Quaker Puffed Rice, the breakfast cereal shot from guns, present Sergeant Preston of the Yukon.
That's some damn creative this time.
It's Yukon King, swiftest and strongest lead dog of the Northwest, blazing the trail for Sergeant Preston of the Northwest Mounted Police in his relentless pursuit of lawbreakers. On King, on you husky! Gold discovered in the Yukon, a stampede to the Klondike in the wild race for riches. Back to the days of the gold rush, with Quaker Puffed Wheat and Quaker Puffed Rice, bringing you the adventures of Sergeant Preston and his wonder dog, Yukon King, as they meet the challenge of the Yukon. Say, fellas and girls, Christmas goodies come only once a year. But the goodies you can enjoy every morning are those king-size grains of sun-ripened rice or wheat shot from guns. Yes, I mean delicious Quaker Puffed Rice and Quaker Puffed Wheat, topped with lots of milk or thick, rich cream and chilled fruit or sliced bananas. A treat for your taste every time. Be sure to have a heaping bowl full of delicious Quaker puffed wheat or Quaker puffed rice tomorrow morning. The mother husky lay in the corner of the dog run with her puppies frisking around her. All of them were gray with white markings, with the exception of the tiniest of the litter. He was pure white, and it was he who ran forward to greet Angus McPherson and Sergeant Preston as they stepped inside the run. Well, hello there, young fella. The puppy liked the sound of the sergeant's voice, and he wagged his tail so hard he shook his whole body as he tried to make friends. The sergeant reached down and scooped him up. Angus shook his head.
Oh, that one I call the wee mite. He'll never grow up to be a sled dog, I'm afraid.
He's a friendly little rat.
Oh, but look at him. Nearly a month old and lost in the palm of your hand. Oh, he's not made for the trail.
He'd make a fine pet.
Aye. And if you should meet a deserving bairn in your travels, Sergeant, he's yours to bestow as you see fit.
Well, thanks, Angus. I'll remember that. But for the time being, back you go to your mother, little fella.
Oh, look at him go.
When the wee mite was 3 months old, he was only half the size of his brothers and sisters, but he was twice as venturesome. And those two factors determined his whole future. It was the day before Christmas. The wee mite, burrowing in the snow, found a small opening between the wire fence of the run and the frozen ground. If he'd been any larger, he wouldn't have been able to squeeze through it and tunnel his way up to the crusted surface of the snow on the far side of the fence. If he had known the meaning of fear, he wouldn't have raced straight into the dense pine forest that surrounded the McPherson cabin. But that's what he did. And once inside the forest, he ran on and on, having a wonderful time investigating the strange sights and sounds and scents of this great new world. Hours passed. The sky clouded over. It grew dark. The wind rose and a heavy snow began to fall. It was not until then that the wee mite gave a thought to home. And not until then he realized he had no idea where home was. But the instinct for survival warned him his fluffy white coat wasn't sufficient protection against the driving, snow-laden wind, and that he must find shelter. He floundered on through the deepening drifts until he reached the edge of the forest. But he was miles away from the McPherson cabin, and the two buildings he saw were dark and silent. The door of the smaller building was closed tight and padlocked. The door of the larger one was also closed, but there was a broken board near the bottom that provided a means of entrance. The wee mite crawled through the hole. The building was a barn, and it was even darker inside than out. But here there was protection from the cruel wind, and the mite trotted around, making a tour of inspection. There was a stove near the door, cold and black, and a row of stalls on either side of the barn. They were unoccupied, but bedded with straw, and the mite chose the farthest stall from the door. There he settled down and burrowed into the straw. Warm at last, he soon fell asleep, exhausted from his efforts. It was a light that woke him, a light pouring through the open door at the far end of the barn. The mite nosed his way to the surface of the straw and peeked around the stall partition to see what was going on. A young woman holding a lantern was standing in the doorway, and behind her there was a young man. He carried a little boy wrapped in a blanket.
There's a stove in here, John, and firewood beside it. Good. We'll stay here instead of breaking into the den. Oh, plenty of straw, too. We can make a bed for Davy close to the stove. I'll get a fire going. Let me have him. No, I shouldn't have insisted on coming along, but I would have worried so much staying at home and wondering. Oh, you were right to come. I'm sorry I couldn't keep up with you. I couldn't have gone on much farther myself carrying Davy. Mommy, I'm so cold. I know, darling, but you'll be warm in a minute. Oh, I hurt. I know. But Daddy's going on to Dawson, and he'll bring back a doctor to make you well. When I saw these buildings, John, I was hoping there'd be someone here. Oh, not at this time of year. It's a way station for the stage line. They don't operate during the winter. How far is it to Dawson? Perhaps 10 miles. Dear, perhaps we should have stayed at home. Simply done nothing. So we had to try and get into a dark room. We'd have made it if it hadn't been for the storm.
What a Christmas Eve. My Jesus. What, baby? My Jesus. This is a stable, isn't it? Oh. Yes, darling. Is there a manger here? Those are mangers in the stall. They put hay in them for the horses to eat. They're not very big. I couldn't fit into one of those. Jesus was only a little baby when they laid him in the
How do we get so far off from murder and fucking robberies? Those were 19th century mass murders and
Are the lyrics good? You know,
bank heist, organized.
all of that has to be there for an artist to, I think, truly be successful. So.
Well, Lil Nas X would probably be one of the best examples of of people just not giving a shit anymore, frankly. Because, I mean, not only is he kind of did the country flair with Old Town Road, got shut down, Billy Ray steps in, helps him out. He's a black guy who's also gay. And so it doesn't, like, people don't care. They really don't care anymore. And I don't understand why it's a big deal at the Grammys.
And I think that just really goes to show you what a perfect example of allyship is. Because if you're someone who, you know, you're facing barriers because you're a black queer musician, people aren't taking you seriously, they think your song's a joke, and then you have someone that's so iconic and so famous who's bigger than you step in and say, wait, this song deserves some credit, give it a listen, I think it's really great.
Supported Yejame. I don't know what happened, and they are now boldly testifying that we are the people who supported Yejame to kill over 44 Ghanaians and Nigerians and West African people. So till now, we don't know why Yejame gave that order. That's why we want justice. That's why we want to see justice. So I hope to appear in TRC, and I have a lot to say.
Yeah, what's going to be your central message to them?
Yeah, the central message is that we want to see justice, and perpetrators, including Yejame, must be brought before law, because the right to live is a fundamental human right for everyone. Well, what is our case? What is our case? So we want Yejame to prove our case in the presence of ECOWAS court in Africa here.
Yeah, ECOWAS, the regional West African body, of course. I just wonder what the last decade and a half or so has been like for you after such a traumatic experience.
Yeah, it has been a long time where we are fighting for justice and justice. Thank God, Human Rights Watch International and Jamaica Justice Campaign Ghana, CDD, ASLA, they are coming to our aid, and Amnesty International, and now here we are heading towards GRC. For we know that giving us access to make our case is a process of justice. So now we know that a day will come, we see the perpetrators be brought before court, and the victims may be duly compensated. For I know TRC is the foundation of Gambia where people may be duly compensated.
Yeah, Gambia's Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, to give the TRRC its full name. Martin Kieri, the only known survivor of that massacre in 2005 in the Gambia. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us.
Now let's stay in West Africa, but head to Ghana, because you may have heard earlier this week how a community centre for lesbian, gay, bisexual and trans people in Ghana was forced to close. And this was following protests against the rights of sexual minorities. Well, the founder of the centre in Accra said it was closed preemptively to protect its staff. In Ghana, homosexuality is illegal and anti-LGBT sentiment is common. Well, our next guest, Ignatius Anor, received texts from staff that were inside the centre as it was closed. Ignatius is a journalist. He identifies as a gay man and is from Ghana, and he joins us.
Since I'm only competing with a Smith and a Jones, there's no reason why I should tax my imagination.
What do you mean by that?
Just that my name...
Decisions for you. Listen.
His name isn't Smith. Now that Mr. Smith realizes he's among friends, he can put up his gun.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I'm afraid I do.
These men are...
3 wise men who've come to pay you a visit on Christmas Eve. 3 wise men, ma'am.
ça commence à provoquer des tensions qui sont évidentes. On est des êtres sociaux, on est fait, on ne peut pas comme ça s'arrêter à 18h, alors tous les magasins qui ferment à 18h, et en plus je vous dis, je pense que c'est pas efficace.
Mais vous dites aussi non à Emmanuel Grégoire sur un confinement.
Alors,
qu'est-ce que vous voulez donc?
Sur un confinement type octobre-novembre, il y en a eu un, d'accord, on vit de confinement en confinement, on n'est pas arrivé à juguler la maladie, donc c'est peut-être pas ça la solution. Il faut... On fait des propositions à une organisation de la société autrement. Nous, on a dit, organisons la société en roulement. C'est quoi? C'est très simple. Ça veut dire que toutes vos activités de travail, mais aussi, du coup, les activités sociales et culturelles qu'on pourrait réouvrir parce qu'il faut les réouvrir. Donc, et les cinémas, vous faites un système de rotation. Par exemple, des gens travaillent une journée et d'autres gens travaillent le lendemain. C'est-à-dire, on réduit les heures de travail, mais au moins, on évite, parce que c'est ça l'objectif, de se retrouver tous ensemble à partir dans les transports en commun, de se retrouver tous ensemble dans les salles de spectacle, dans les lieux sportifs, etc.
Mais ça veut dire quoi? C'est par profession, on dit quoi?
Ça, c'est l'État, depuis des mois, pourrait organiser ces choses-là. Regardez, par exemple, il y a un exemple. Alors, bien sûr, ce serait un peu plus complexe, mais pas tant que ça. Quand vous avez la rotation des systèmes pair et impair des immatriculations à Paris, il y a un système qui fonctionne. On dit, bah voilà, ce jour-là, il y a telle immatriculation qui peut fonctionner, l'autre jour, il y a une autre solution. Et bien, de la même manière, on pourrait très bien imaginer que les entreprises, parce qu'on en a encore pour des mois, on le sait, le vaccin est aujourd'hui.
Donc les entreprises A, elles peuvent travailler le lundi.
Par exemple, ou dans une entreprise, et j'ai vu d'ailleurs, je crois que c'est Renault, en tout cas c'est une entreprise, j'ai entendu hier, qui l'organisait d'elle-même. Non, mais ça, c'est l'État qui devrait, à un moment donné, impulser les choses. Parce qu'on en a pour des mois, et à partir de là, je vous assure, c'est plus possible d'être dans un système moyenâgeux qui est celui du confinement, et encore plus, la question du couvre-feu. Si on avait ce système qu'on propose de roulement, à côté de ça, moi, ce que je propose, c'est un système mais bien organisé, où on propose des conditions matérielles pour que les gens s'isolent quand ils sont malades. Ce n'est pas le cas aujourd'hui. On n'arrête pas de nous dire « Ah, mais les gens ne veulent pas », on n'en sait rien.
C'est des chambres d'hôtel, c'est des...
En Seine-Saint-Denis, je vais vous donner, oui, des chambres d'hôtel, on réquisitionne des lieux, on les médicalise pour que les gens ne se retrouvent pas tout seuls, et on leur propose, c'est pas une contrainte, mais on leur propose de pouvoir y accéder pour pas contaminer le reste de leur famille, leurs proches. En Seine-Saint-Denis, j'ai demandé au préfet, dans une réunion, combien il y avait utile de logements comme ça proposés depuis le début de la crise. 50 logements. Vous vous rendez compte par rapport aux milliers de cas qu'il y a eu en Seine-Saint-Denis. Donc ça serait aussi l'organisation. Et si je dis ça, je ne sors pas comme ça d'un coup. C'est par exemple ce qui a été fait à Taïwan, dans des endroits où on s'en sort bien. Et troisième chose, évidemment, à côté de ça, ça permettrait une organisation. Et quand vous avez un foyer, là par contre, vous pouvez réfléchir localement sur un confinement pour le coup complet pendant un certain temps, de façon à isoler la maladie. Bon, mais ça voudrait dire aussi autre chose, c'est que on ait une stratégie vaccinale qui fonctionne. Et là encore hier, ça a été l'aveu d'un échec.
Jean Castex nous dit à la fin du printemps, ça y est, il y aura une couverture vaccinale suffisante.
C'est ça,
ça veut dire le 20 juin.
Il a dit, moi ce que le gouvernement il compte sur le fait qu'on n'ait pas de mémoire. Le 20 janvier, Monsieur Véran, sur une chaîne de télé, à 20h, annonce 30 millions de personnes vaccinées au mois de mai. 43 en juin, 75, plus que la population française en août. Et là, hier, qu'est-ce que dit M. Castex? Il dit qu'il y aura la moitié des gens de 50 ans. J'ai fait le calcul. Au mois de mai, c'est 13 millions. 13 millions par rapport à 30 millions. Donc, en réalité, on est toujours, pour l'instant, en échec en termes d'approvisionnement. Et nous, en Seine-Saint-Denis, on le vit de manière dramatique, puisqu'il y a très peu, puisque la population est jeune, donc on a donné peu de vaccins, mais qu'on se retrouve devant une difficulté qui peut être en rapport avec le fait qu'il y ait une flambée épidémique. Donc là, de ce point de vue-là, là aussi, moi, je me souviens des choses. Où en sont, par exemple, les réquisitions des labos? On nous avait dit on va réquisitionner les unités de production de Sanofi. J'ai entendu. En tout cas, on va demander qu'ils puissent le faire.
Sanofi, en tout cas, dit on va produire le vaccin Pfizer.
J'aimerais savoir si c'est le cas. J'aimerais savoir si c'est le cas. Parce que là, c'était pour les semaines à venir. Alors, bien sûr, il faudrait qu'il y ait une licence qui soit gratuite et publique, c'est ce que nous demandons, des vaccins. Mais ça, le gouvernement, où a-t-il été faire pression pour qu'il y ait ce genre de choses? Donc moi, je considère que l'échec vaccinal, pour l'instant, la stratégie vaccinale, qui est celle qui nous sortira du problème à terme, j'espère, est aujourd'hui un échec, et que le gouvernement navigue à vue. On ne sait pas trop où il va, donc il va de confinement en confinement, et pour l'instant, admettons ensemble que c'est pas très efficace.
Éric Coquerel, député France Insoumise de Seine-Saint-Denis, vous étiez ce matin le grand témoin de France Info. Merci beaucoup.
like what, they'll steal